I tell you, a few years ago, if one more person had told me that time heals all wounds, I think I would have lost my mind. Because when I was sitting alone in a quiet house trying to figure out what was next, watching the days slip by just didn't heal a thing. It just kept me stuck. Simply waiting it out just did not work.
It doesn't. But there is a practical method that breaks rebuilding from past wounds into 4 concrete components. And when you choose consistent actions in each one, the fog starts to lift. Welcome to Rebuild with Clarity. We help those over 50 rebuild after life's hardest moments. We share the actual strategies we use to start over from the ground up. I recently read a simple phrase, time is not magical, time just passes. It made me realize that waiting it out does not heal all wounds. Instead of letting the day slip by, moving forward takes intentional action.
The hard truth many people over 50 face is that grief is emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausting. Whether you are mourning the loss of a loved one, the life you had planned, or even not knowing who you are anymore, the pain is real. When you're starting over after that kind of devastation, thinking about the future can actually feel much more depressing.
Everyone grieves differently, and passing of time does soften the edges, so giving yourself grace right now makes sense. However, there comes a point where that safe space you built to protect yourself becomes the very thing keeping you stuck. Right now, you get to choose to begin looking ahead.
The fact is that time alone cannot do the work of rebuilding for you. Grace allows you to rest, but when you are ready, taking that next step is what actually moves you forward. Because what we do or do not do every day, it becomes our reality.
That is so true. Choosing to take the next step is the component so many of us miss. We do not realize that inaction is actually our pattern. If we do not choose our actions on purpose, we end up either living in limbo or hoping for things to change instead of actively rebuilding our lives.
That is why having a clear plan makes such a huge difference. You can't just think your way out of a stuck life. You build your way out.
Rebuilding your life from the ground up takes structure. One of the main tools in our clarity system is the True North method. It's a framework designed to help you discover your own core values and set meaningful goals for your heart, your soul, your mind, and your strength.
When you break it down into those 4 components, it gives you actual methods to get out of the waiting stage. Let's look at how this functions when you choose to add consistent actions to each one.
The first component is your heart. Identifying what brings you joy is the starting point, but that looks a lot different when you're in a place where you can't even think about joy. When you're stuck, the question is not simply about what makes you happy. The question becomes what emotional habit you are repeating every day that's keeping you stuck. For me, that was replaying the old narrative every single morning. I'd wake up and immediately start reliving what went wrong. I would even say to myself, what is wrong with me?
The choice that broke that loop was choosing to redirect her first thoughts of the day away from the past and onto one specific thing she was going to do that day. It was not about forcing happiness, it was about choosing to stop walking back into the pain. Once you break that loop, you can begin to write down the simple things that make your heart happy.
For me, that was being out in nature, spending time with our fur babies, and helping others. For you, this can look like spending time with a grandchild or simply enjoying a morning coffee with some friends.
The second component is your soul. In our success video, we ask what gives your soul inner peace. That is a great question when you are ready to design your future. But when you are stuck, the question changes. It becomes a matter of asking what part of your immediate environment is keeping you in hiding. Your soul reflects what surrounds you. When the blinds stay closed, the clutter piles up, and the same chair holds you in the same spot every day, your environment becomes a physical extension of feeling stuck. The action here is small but powerful. Change one thing in your physical space every morning. Open the blinds first thing, clear one surface, walk to a different room, and sit somewhere new. These are not cleaning tasks. They are signals to your brain that you're no longer hiding. When your environment changes, your inner peace has room to return on its own. From there, you can begin to identify the activities that bring peace to your soul. For me, that peace is found walking our dog in the quiet forest near the river. Some people find peace through meditation or watching the sunset.
The third component is your mind. When devastation hits, your mind can completely shut down or can get locked into an overwhelming loop. You lose the ability to make a decision because every option feels equally heavy. The action here is about giving your brain a simple focus so it does not stay frozen or spend the entire day spinning. For me, I wrote down on paper that I like to read, and I recognize that reading actually brings me peace. So I chose to read books on recovery and inspirational books, which helped me tremendously in my first year.
When your mind has a positive track to run on, the fog starts to clear. Once you move past the initial shutdown, the focus expands to building your mental strength and perspective through learning. A great step is to find new ways to grow. I keep my mind focused by working to help others in addiction recovery. Even watching this video right now is a good choice for your mind.
The fourth component is physical strength. This is about building a sturdy frame for your life through physical well-being. This is where a waiting pattern can do significant damage because your body is often the first thing you abandon when life falls apart. You don't sleep or eat well, and you don't want to exercise. The action here is not about a fitness goal or a milestone. It's about committing to one physical choice every day that proves to your body you are still moving forward.
For me, that was getting on the bike. It was not to train or hit a specific number, but simply to get my lungs and my legs working. Taking that physical action creates positive momentum. Over time, for my strength, I trained for my black belt, continued walking our dog, and became a cycling coach. Your actions, they could be as simple as taking a 20-minute walk, eating whole foods, or prioritizing better sleep. Once you determine what matters most to you, you can begin choosing actions that actually support these components. Instead of waiting for things to improve, use your own personal values as a guide to choose your actions on purpose.
Turning those new actions into a routine takes practice. Moving forward means actively building something new.
Yes, but breaking away from your old patterns is hard work, so be sure to give yourself grace to not get it perfect. Just do the best you can right now, and you will move forward.
Let's quickly review what we covered today. First, time alone does not heal wounds. It just passes. Waiting only keeps you stuck.
Second, true rebuilding requires intentional choices. The True North method gives you a structure to choose consistent actions for your heart, your soul, your mind, and your physical strength.
Third, give yourself grace. Transitioning into this new stage takes effort, so prioritize peace over perfectionism.
And finally, your action step. Identify one old pattern that is no longer serving you. Make the choice to let it go and decide what new action you will practice instead.
Letting go of that one old pattern is where your rebuild actually begins. Making that choice is your first step. If you want a plan to help you figure out what to tackle next, we have the tools to support you.
Head over to rebuildwithclarity.com. We have several free resources waiting for you on the site, including tools to help you build your own values and goals. You can also take the free RWC quiz to get clarity on where to focus and to help you figure out your path forward.
If you're ready to start rebuilding today, we recommend watching our video on what to do when you are stuck between your past and your future. It's a great resource for moving forward, and you'll see it right here on the screen.
You are no longer waiting on time. You are choosing to rebuild.